Starting over always requires a level of courage that can seem overwhelming. It takes courage to toss aside old ideals for new ones. Whether you are starting over out of necessity for your health, career, happiness, or you're doing so because you're bored and you're in need of a challenge, doing so will offer great benefits. Yes, there's fear whenever you leap into the unknown. But on the flip side of that fear, there's an incredible exhilaration for new opportunities and possibilities that will undoubtedly present themselves to you. I remember making a fresh start back when I moved from my home state of Rhode Island to Maryland. That was 16 years ago, and I was scared to death to pack up the U-Haul with all my possessions and trek 450 miles south to a place where I knew few. I did so on blind faith that I'd end up living somewhere safe, getting a job, and rooting myself in the day-to-day necessities of finding home in unfamiliar territory. The scariest part for me at that time was leaving my family and friends behind. I did have my spouse with me, but still, going from a tribe of people to depending solely on one person frightened the heck out of me. So why did I do it? It was partly a career choice, as well as a deep need to find myself. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes the only way to find ourselves is to lose ourselves first. Starting fresh requires that you put a bit of your old familiar self behind so that you can discover new things about yourself that you didn't realize existed. For instance, for me, I didn't realize that I had the ability to make new friends easily. That may surprise some people who know me to hear me say something like that, because I'm an outgoing person. I wasn't always. It took me a lot of time, courage, digging, sacrificing, reflecting, and refining to get to a point from being uncomfortable around strangers to energized and excited about it. I would go so far as to say that the way I evolved into this new self was through losing my old self. My family and friends back home were a crutch to me. They were comfort food on a cold, wintry day. That bowl of chicken soup when the world outside turns into a frozen tundra full of ice, gray skies, and endless snowstorms. They warmed me and provided a space where I didn't want to open that door and face the obstacles that might be there to greet me. I loved just slipping into their open arms and being content with where I was. Comfort can be soothing and so gentle on the soul, making it really hard to move past that and venture out to find what's waiting for us. One day, it clicked for me that comfort could actually hold me back. In that moment of realization, I finally understood that in order to gain momentum and live beyond the current, I needed to take a leap of faith. A huge one at that. Huge because I was so dependent on that comfort. There's always something that acts as a catalyst to change. It might be an urgent message from your doctor, an alarming message from a friend or family member that knocks you off your feet and makes you see the world differently. It can be anything, even something small but powerful, like a feeling of unease that you can't quite put your finger on. Whatever the catalyst, it's a pretty cool tool in our basket towards self-love and development. it knocks us out of a groove that is quite defeating in retrospect. It might not feel that way in the moment. That groove might be feeling a lot like a life preserver when change comes barreling into town. But afterwards, it always makes sense that the change needed to happen for you to end up where you are today and where you'll need to be in the future. If you are entering a phase in your life where you know a new step is needed, I have a few tips that I'd like to share with you to help make it a smoother transition. First tip is to try something new. When I first moved to Maryland, I had one foot still in Rhode Island, praying that I'd wake up and realize I made the wrong move so that I could move back and place myself in comfort again. I held myself back with that thought. And until I decided that I needed to treat Maryland like home, by meeting new people and getting involved in the community, I'd ruin my chance at making this fresh start work. So I started with learning a new skill. I took a community workshop on oil painting. Prior to this, I had always wanted to learn how to do this, but never got around to it. Well, I had plenty of free time to indulge, so I did. I summoned up the courage to walk into a classroom full of strangers and learn something new that piqued my interest. The result was learning not only how to oil paint, but how to converse with strangers over new ideas. It was a powerful moment in my life. I came out of a shell that had held me prisoner for far too long. I met some great people, opened my eyes to a new hobby, and to my advantage, even unknowingly, began my hands-on research for a novel that I would one day write. That novel is The Fish Room, my debut novel that I began to write back in 2003. The main character is an oil paint artist named Emma. So see, by trying something completely out of my wheelhouse, I met face to face with opportunity. An opportunity that landed me on the path to writing. Second tip is to not be afraid to fail. As Will Smith has stated, fail early, fail often, fail forward. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. I recall this quote often because I am a person who has always tried to maintain a certain outrageous level of perfectionism in many aspects of my life. I've learned through the years to let go of that, because holding on to it creates a barrier to life. It knocks a person off her feet. It stops her mid-track and makes her question every step she's taken up to that point. If you are going to make a leap, you need to do it without worry that you will fail. You might fail. So what? We all do. Just start back again. Pick up the pieces, learn the lesson, and go at it from another angle. It is just a mistake. Mistakes make us wiser if we learn from them. I say go after this fresh start with a curious heart, leaving the fearful baggage behind. You may fail and lose on some aspect, but from that loss, you'll gain so much more. Third tip is to acknowledge the challenges. What are challenges but a series of tools to help you chisel away at the stuff that no longer serves you? to make room for the things that will serve you. Challenges are like clutter cleaners. They work to get us off the beaten path, often littered with what-ifs and regrets and comfort, and plop us in a terrain that makes us seek other options that usually always turn into much better circumstances down the road. Embrace the curves. Learn from them. Carry them with you into your creative endeavors. My last tip for today is to get rid of a few words in your vocabulary. Yeah, that's right, a writer who wants you to toss away words. Not just any words. The words I'm referring to are crutch words that bleed negativity and victimization into your life. To start fresh, you need to clean out the garbage and replace it with robust, empowering, and engaging vibes that will lift you from the depths of bad circumstances and into the light where magic happens. What are these words that I urge you to toss? Words like, I can't. I don't know how. And what if it doesn't work? These words will drag you down and cause you to become a spectator in life instead of a doer. If you are going to start fresh, you need a clean slate that is free of old habits and tired, negative self-talk. Make this your time to commit to cleaning that slate so you can journey along a path in life that aligns with your heart and challenges you to embrace the many gifts that life has in store for you once you let go and let live.